1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This is a level check, level check. Okay, what is the problem with the software today? My gosh. I hope that... All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 7:15. Hi, everybody. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer coming to you from the streaming center at Fox 19 Now Live. Let's take a look at our Clovernook Country Club camera. And what you're seeing there is a nice early evening, although 84 degrees, humidity still sky high around the tri-state, so it doesn't feel very nice. As a matter of fact, it still feels kind of muggy out there. And essentially, what we've got coming our way is another day of this kind of weather tomorrow, and then a day with some relief, and after that the temperature and humidity climb again and back into the hot and sticky stuff before the weekend is over. Hate to tell you that, but you know, that's the way it goes around here sometimes. So let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite radar loop. You can see the showers and thunderstorms that rolled through earlier off to the east now, and there's another line off to the north and west. So the activity over our southeastern corner is just now out of Lewis County. If we take a look at the stuff to the north and west, that continues to get a little stronger. There are no warnings out for that, but it looks like it'll make it to Hamilton by 9:41, only moving at about 10 or so miles an hour, and maybe if it holds together to Hillsborough by 1:07, but it'll more than likely fall apart before then. And then the weather maker for tomorrow is right out here. Okay, this is tomorrow's weather maker. You can kind of see that that's the frontal system. Now that'll roll in, that'll bring us some showers and thunderstorms, and right now it looks like the best chance of severe storms comes between 5 and 11 a.m. That would be from our western counties to our eastern counties, and I'll show you that in the model in just a minute. And after that, the air up here around Omaha is nicer, it's less humid, drier. We're going to have a nice day on Wednesday, but then right away the heat and humidity will begin to build and right back into the soupy, sticky stuff for the weekend. And so this is what we're watching right here. Now notice we also, here's the front and the southwesterly winds ahead of it. There's quite a bit of activity from the Memphis area up through Missouri to St. Louis, moving north and eastward. So I can't rule out a shower or a thunderstorm overnight. Don't think there'll be anything severe until we get into the early morning hours, like 5 a.m. or so. But I can't rule out the Weather Service putting out a severe thunderstorm warning for any of these cells. So let's go ahead, take a look, quick look ahead. Still humid tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms again. Wednesday, finally some relief. And then Thursday, the warming begins again. And so the humidity is also increasing, and so we are right back into it. But I'm just going to give thanks for one day of relief. Okay, as far as the chance of severe weather until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're looking at a marginal risk right there in the darker shade. Everybody else is just kind of like typical thunderstorms, garden variety thunderstorms. So there's not a big chance, but a little bit of a chance of a severe cell as we head in through the night. And when I mean the temperature and humidity are increasing, take a look at the increase here. We have heat index values of 86 and 87 for Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, as we head through Thursday, Friday, and you can see it climbing back to 90 by Friday, 93, 96, and 99 for Monday. So we're right back into the hot and sticky stuff as we head through the weekend. And next week looks kind of nasty once again. Temperatures as of 7 p.m. In the 80s around the tri-state. We are looking at 73 in Richmond. You've had some rain there. 75 in Washington Courthouse and Chillicothe. 75 in Maysville from some recent rain-cooled air. Everybody else in the 80s. And the heat index, or I'm sorry, the latest dew point temperatures. Now notice, again, we talk about this a lot, and I want to mention this until everybody's really familiar with it. Dew point temperatures in the 70s are quite high. Quite rare for the Cincinnati area to have dew points in the 80s, okay? And again, that's just a measure of the humidity in the air. But Batesville has a dew point of 81. Lebanon has a dew point of 81. And when you step back and look at this, you think, okay, Everybody else is in the 70s. What is it about Batesville and Lebanon that they have in common? And what they have in common is both are relatively small airports, okay? Both airports are surrounded by a lot of agricultural activity, so cornfields, soybean fields, things like that. And one of the things we know about crops and fields is that those crops transpire a great deal of moisture, and that increases the humidity. Now, what happens during the day is the sun heats the ground. Okay, we get thermals developing, so rising air basically, and that helps carry some of that moisture up above the crop canopy above the surface. Then, when we get past the heat of the day and the thermals stop and everything begins to settle back down to the surface, the humidity does too. So oftentimes, you'll see late afternoon and early evening dew points higher there. So these are microclimates. Batesville and Lebanon both have farm fields surrounding all the weather instruments. Quite a lot of moisture transpired into the air, and that's why they have that microclimate. Now, it's real. I mean, the dew point really is 82 in Lebanon. It really is 81 in Batesville, but it's not the same as the dew points here. You would think that Lunken would have a dew point that high, but even at the junction of the Little Miami and the Ohio River, in that deep valley right there, there's not enough moisture around to match what the plants put out at both Batesville and Lebanon. So, that's the microclimate of Batesville and Lebanon, and it's one of the things we have to deal with. When we talk about the heat index, you've got to specify different locations. And so if we look at the heat index here, look at that heat index in Lebanon, 105. 98 the heat index in Batesville, okay? Both of those because of the crops, but hey, Madison's not far behind with a heat index of 95, 94 at Lunken, 93 in Hamilton and Middletown. So specifically those heat index values just push it up into the danger category often because of those crops out there. And so when you're talking to farmers and you say, oh my gosh, I was out in the middle of the field working today, that extra humidity can really add a lot to the heat stress value of the air. Okay. I'm going to start this one over because I forgot to tell this thing to stop at the beginning. Okay. Now I'm going to restart this particular graphic. Well, I thought I was going to restart the particular graphic. Come on. Give me a second. I'll get to it. I just want to start at the beginning so you can see the timeline on this. All right. Okay, so now, oh, I know what's going on here. Give me a second. All right. There's so many buttons you have to push to get things where you want them. All righty, now we'll try and start with this. Okay, so we're starting now at 4:30 a.m. You can see that on the banner there, and off to the north and west, you can see the shower and thunderstorm activity. What you want to notice is the cellular appearance of this. Here's one with the magenta core. Here's one with the magenta core at 2 levels. And so this is telling us that the model is saying, hey, this is not just going to be rain and thunder, but there could be some strong to severe thunderstorms in here starting around 5 a.m. So this is just before it's moving into our viewing area. And so, again, I think the greatest chance of severe weather is not this evening, but once we head past 4 a.m. By 7 a.m. then, you don't see as many of those, you don't see any magenta cores, but you do see rains, cellular appearance of thunderstorm activity through a good portion of the viewing area. By 8 a.m., it's moving off to the east. By 9 a.m., it's trying to exit the eastern corner of our viewing area. And then by 10 a.m., back to some magenta cores with some scattered showers around the area. So this all adds up to a fairly wet, probably far from trouble-free morning commute. Excuse me a second. I did morning weather for 20 years at another TV station here in the city. And the one thing you learn about rain in the morning is it doesn't take much to make your morning commute a nightmare. And this one has all the makings for a very slow morning commute. Okay, then as we head through the day, we get some more shower and thunderstorm activity from time to time before the drier, nicer air moves back into the tri-state. So how much rain? Now notice the badge up there. It says 5 a.m. to 11 a.m., so this is only a 6-hour total. There could be as much as 1.17 in Batesville, 0.91 in Middletown, 0.64 right in the city, 0.77 in VV, 1.31 in Owenton. Now, if you wonder why these are so spotty, it's because a lot of this rainfall is from the thunderstorm. So you may have a thunderstorm pass over Owenton, but Poplar Grove to the north of that or Williamstown off to the east of that don't get the thunderstorm and they don't get the high rainfall total. So this has the potential for a very slow, troublesome morning commute around the tri-state. Okay, sunset this evening at 9:08. It's 84 out there right now. We're looking for temperatures dropping off to about 75 by 11 p.m. with some shower and thunderstorm activity in the area. Now, you saw there on radar, it's very widely scattered. There's not going to be that much. Most of what we get this evening is going to be in our northern counties, and we'll look at radar again in a minute. And overall, I think everybody has got rainfall for that morning commute. So tonight, down into the low 70s, showers and thunderstorms around for the morning commute. Tomorrow looks like this. High temperature of 83, 85 is the normal, record high is 98. So we are in for another steamy day tomorrow, no doubt about it. Okay, here is July 6th to July 10th. The Climate Prediction Center says we're going to be warmer than normal. The second half of their forecast says we're back to normal from the 8th through the 14th and back to a little bit above normal as we head on into the 26th of July. So warmer than normal to a little bit to around normal is what it looks like for most of July. Rainfall-wise, slightly more than normal through the 10th of July, slightly more than normal through the 14th of July, and then just about normal or slightly more than normal through the 26th. So the takeaway from this is we've got some hot weather on the way, but we don't have an extended scorching heat wave that'll last forever through the end of July, and we don't have a drought coming our way. We have about normal precipitation. So it might dry out a little bit. It might be on the dry side, but we're not at all looking at this point as we head right on up to the last part of the month of July of a drought. So that's good news for those of you that have farms. You probably won't have to worry too much about the sun and the dry weather, at least up through the rest of July. That may change, but right now that's the way it's looking. Okay, here's your 7-day forecast. We are looking at 72 and 83 for tomorrow, lingering storms. Comfy sunshine for Wednesday. I was making a big deal about this last week, and then we're continuing with that verbiage for Wednesday. Comfy sunshine, so that's nice. Sun and clouds on Thursday. The humidity and heat begin to build again, but not much. So Thursday doesn't look to be bad. Friday, back to sticky. Hot and humid Saturday, hot and humid with filtered sunshine Sunday. And then Monday, we're looking at 87. Now, what is so important about the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday coming up? Well, that is our 3-day 4th of July weekend. Remember, this is the last day of June, so tomorrow is July 1st. 2nd, 3rd, 4th is Friday, so our country's birthday, Friday, and it looks like it's going to be dry now. And we talked about this last week, and again, whenever you talk about something more than a week out, you got to say it may change a lot, but right now it looks like we're going to be okay for your 4th of July weekend. Okay, so when we go beyond the 7-day forecast, high temperatures, cool off to the low 80s and then begin to rebound. We've got frequent periods of shower activity. So all this is consistent with what we just saw on the Climate Prediction Center's maps. Temperatures not far from normal. Rainfall plentiful but not excessive. And then here is the next 14 days temperature-wise on one big graph. There are the highs, there are the lows, and you can see that we're going to be a little bit above normal for a while, a couple days in the 90s, but when we dip to a little bit above to a little bit below, but we're kind of hugging normal, as I call it, or flirting with normal on the high side, and the same thing on the low side as we head toward the middle of the month of July. Okay, let's go ahead and take another look at radar, and then I'll go and take a look and see if we have comments and questions on Facebook. Okay, so radar is coming up here. Okay, so there's the wide view of radar as we speak. You can see the showers and thunderstorms have gained, if we go and do, I tell you what, I'm going to do what we call a box zoom. up here to the northwest. And you can see the shower and thunderstorm activity has not really gotten that much stronger or bigger, but it has formed a solid line. And so they're moving in through Liberty now, moving toward the center of Franklin County, which is Brookville. And then we'll soon be into College Corner, Oxford, a little bit later than that, Morgan Township in Butler County. And the way they're looking, they may extend as far south as downtown Cincinnati in Hamilton County. So that is what it looks like in those particular storms. Okay, we have some other activity we can zoom into here. As a matter of fact, there's some new stuff that just popped up right there on the Claremont County, Brown County line. You see a little bit of a shower. It may grow into a thunderstorm, but not severe. And again, if we zoom out a little bit, you can see most of the stuff that came through earlier is now out of Lewis County. And off to the north and west, you've got those showers and thunderstorms, again, rolling into the tri-state. And if they stay together, they should make it to Wilmington by 11:13, 9:41 to Hamilton. I think that timing may need to be adjusted. I think it's probably going to be more like 8:30 for the Hamilton area. And our wide view shows you this. And right out here to the west, this is tomorrow's weather maker. You can see a nice line of showers and thunderstorms here. That line of showers and thunderstorms is along the front. It's all sinking our way. Ahead of that front, southwesterly winds pushing some showers and thunderstorms north and eastward. So as these two kind of converge right on the Fox 19 Now viewing area, we expect a fairly wet morning commute around the tri-state, with that chance that a couple of those thunderstorms with it will be strong to severe around the area. Okay, so let me go ahead here and see who we have, or what we have as far as comments go on Facebook. Okay, Harvey Day Jr., hey, thank you, Harvey, said the level check was received and heard on YouTube and on Facebook. So I think we may have the Facebook issue that we had last week worked out until it doesn't work again, and then we'll figure it out. Susan Wally says, good evening. Hi, Susan. Brian Hughes, that has nothing to do with me. He's commenting to somebody else. Jarmarl Jones says, thank you, we appreciate it. You're welcome, I'm glad I can do this. And Victoria Holt Isaacs, my sentiment is, well, crap. So we have one day of a relief and then that's it, okay. Betty Plyman says, hello. Hi, Betty. Okay. Will there be air quality alerts? Possibly. Whenever we get hot and humid, there can be air quality alerts, but over the past couple of years, none of the air quality alerts have gotten to be really bad. We're not talking about like the old Donora, Pennsylvania thing in 1948, or London smog, or the stuff in LA before the Clean Air Act, but there could be some air quality alerts coming out of this, Betty. Dave Pite says, hello, Steve from Hillsboro. Hello, Dave, and hello, Hillsboro. Jeff Beechler, Jeff, any snow? Can't blame a guy for asking. No, Jeff, not yet. Nancy Fightmaster Spalding says, what about humidity for the weekend? I think it's on the rise. It's going to go from uncomfortable on Saturday to pretty darn oppressive on Sunday, Betty, or Nancy. So it definitely looks like the humidity is on the rise for the weekend. All right. So then Jeff Beechler says, okay, no snow, but what about any bad storms or severe weather? Can't rule that out for the morning, okay? At least it'll be rain heavy enough to slow the commute down, so it's going to be a very slow go to work, not school, but to work in the morning. And then as we head through the holiday, we don't have any rain or thunderstorms in the forecast for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. That's the 4th, 5th, and 6th, so good news for the holiday weekend. And then next week, we could go back to some scattered thunderstorms. But at least through the weekend, it doesn't look like anything severe other than the possibility of tomorrow. Okay, well, that's it for the comments. Let me go back to the 7-day forecast. We'll review that, and then we'll call it a night. Let me just start off with what I'm going to do is just going to start off with the forecast for this evening. In case you missed it, you'll be able to see it here coming up, and it'll come up. full screen in just a couple of seconds. And so there you see more shower and thunderstorm activity off to the west. All right, so right now it's 84 at the International Airport. We'll see the temperature drop to 75 by 11 p.m. and it'll be a sticky 75 and can't rule out a pop-up shower. The sun's down at 9:08. Overnight down to the low 70s with showers and thunderstorms around for the morning commute. Tomorrow look for a high of 83. That sunset time is not correct. I'll have to fix that. 85 the high tomorrow with a record high of 98. 85 the normal high. Climate Prediction Center says we're going to go from hotter to near normal, back to warmer than normal, and rainfall right on through the last few days of July should stay at or above normal by a little bit, so that's good news. And here's that 7-day forecast. Low temperature tonight, 72, high tomorrow 83 with lingering storms, comfy sunshine Wednesday. Humidity and temperatures begin to increase on Thursday, but still not too bad. Thursday looks like a pretty good day. Friday, warmer, more humid. Saturday and Sunday is sticky. And then back to some showers and thunderstorms on Monday. And the good news here is this is the big weekend right here. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 4th, 5th, and 6th of July. Looks like no rain coming our way, but it's definitely going to get hot and sticky for the Saturday and Sunday part of that 3-day weekend. That's it for now. Thank you for joining me. Have yourself a nice night, and I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do the same with new and better information.